Vanessa here with Paradox Comedy. Is having some technical issues. Today I'm going to be interviewing Jackson Banks. He is, I've never gotten so many positive comments and like DMs from people than from when I just announced I was going to be interviewing Jackson. So this is his kind of like promo reels and the stuff that he does on his Instagram. He really knows how to utilize video in social media well. So I kind of want to talk to him about that. He's also he's a door guy at the Comedy Store in Hollywood. And he has, I guess, an album or a special coming out later this year, which we'll talk about. So just waiting for him to join. And hopefully we'll see him here shortly. Thanks everyone for logging on. Hi. Hi everyone. Just waiting for Jack here. Oh, there. Was that him? Oh, it says you're unable to join. All right. I'll accept it again.
Oh.
There you are. Hey, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good. Thanks for joining me and doing this. I know I've been kind of creepily stalking you on Instagram for about a year now.
Yeah, we met in the flesh at the Comedy Store. Sorry, I'm holed up in the basement right now. I'm on the run from the authorities, but I'm just holed up down here, and
Okay.
been about 6 weeks down here. So, but other than that, things are going pretty good. The album's coming out, so. How long have I known you for?
What's that?
How long have I known you for?
About a year now. Yeah. I know that you also did some shows down here in San Diego. You were doing some stuff in La Jolla. But first, I want to get to, hopefully the authorities don't find you while we're in the middle of this and they're not tracking your location, because that would be unfortunate. Let's talk about how you got started in comedy. Where'd you come from? Because now it seems like you're kind of everywhere.
Everywhere meaning, up and down the West Coast. I'm from Salt Lake City. That's where I am now. I'm just trying to dodge these charges, but I started comedy in Salt Lake City, and it's a very colorful place to begin your life. What do you want to know about it?
Yeah,
it's a real freak show.
Yeah, I know. I heard about you grew up Mormon and now you're not.
Well, I'm still officially listed as a member, but the joke's on them.
Yeah. I think I'm unless I'm hallucinating this, I think your dad also does comedy.
My dad?
Yeah.
No, absolutely not.
Oh, okay. For some reason I thought you were somehow related to this other comic who was being interviewed on Ari Manis.
No, I don't. I specifically instructed my family not to follow me into comedy. I told them.
How did you get started in comedy?
It was the only way I could relate to the other human beings.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
How else am I going to seduce women if I don't do hour-long stand-up sets about being addicted to porn? How else am I going to get these women to pay attention to me?
Yeah. But even so, you've been really popular. Even when I did run into you at the Comedy Store, you had like a flock of women around you, just kind of.
I think that might have been in your mind. I don't recall that ever happening. I don't.
What's that?
Whatever's going on inside your head, that's where I want to live. That sounds wonderful.
Okay, it might have been like 2 women, but
can we turn the viewership thing on? The oscillating viewership. It's going up and down.
Yeah.
Let's just block it. I'm gonna take it over. Folks, can you just? All right.
So how long have you
So yeah, I'm
been
dodging the authorities right now.
are they
I
in your
haven't eaten in a
house?
while. To use as the youth say it, I'm rather horny for food right now. I haven't eaten in a minute. So, um, yeah. Where were we? Yes, Comedy Store is great. Been working there about almost 2 months,
Has it been that long?
and
Okay. But before that, how did you even know what the Comedy Store was? Why did you even get started in comedy? You're relating to the humans in this way. You're a
oh,
very
you want the full
uh-huh.
you want the full story. You want my life story.
I mean, you can tell
Um,
us as much as you want.
um, I started comedy. There was like a little club in college that I joined. So the first crowds I performed for were like college crowds, and that's about the easiest kill of your life, you know. So yeah, the first time, so I have kind of thin skin, and honestly, if I hadn't started in college, I probably wouldn't have pursued it because my first set I murdered, you know, and if I hadn't murdered the first set, I would have been like, it's not for me, you know. But you know, I just was on that campus crushing like a god for so long, you know, I knew something was going right. But then when I started actually doing comedy at clubs, it was like, oh, this is a little harder than I thought it was, you know, because it's not people with ukuleles going like, yay, lucky no, yay. You know, you're not performing on the talent show. You're performing against other comics that want to bathe in your blood. So you learn how to deal with that, you know. He says, this guy says, don't give up. Buddy, things are going fine. Things are, oh.
Even so, you're kind of still popular. I mean, at least amongst the San Diego comics here, they really love you. They're very excited that I'm doing this interview with you.
Well,
How do you what's that?
I'll be there soon. I'm actually going to be there July 14th for Duckfoot Comedy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I'm
Great.
bringing a teacher, Nicole Buchanan. I don't know if you know her, but she's done a lot of work on TV roasts and stuff. But she's a rather prominent comic. She's also from the store, so I invited her to be my feature. You know, they demanded a woman. I selected. You know, had a whole dossier of women. I had a whole
Yeah.
folder of women that I met. And yeah, she was selected to be my running mate. So Duckfoot, July 14th, I'll be doing a very juicy half hour and probably the best close you've ever seen. So highly recommend that. And you know, as soon as I get these trumped up charges, as soon as I get these charges dropped, you know, I'll
Yeah.
be right there in San Diego. And guess what? Even if I did it, it's not that big of a deal that I did it. So even if I did do it, it's not that big of a deal, and I didn't do it. But even if I did,
So what, like, not that you did it, but what are they saying that you did do?
don't even worry about. Don't. I won't bore you with the details about. Let's not get into semantics of what I
Let's just,
did and
you
why.
didn't do it, and it doesn't matter, but, yeah.
Ryan Newford says, "Blow me a kiss." I say, "Yes, I will blow you a kiss. I'll blow you a kiss now." Five
So,
people. What the hell? I'm a fucking superstar. Five people. You know what? You know what it is? It's your fault because you didn't advertise this properly, Vanessa. He's weird.
okay.
He's weird. He's funny. How about he's sexy? He's funny. He's cool. He's funny. He has a six pack. He's funny.
You have
People don't go.
back.
For
Yeah.
huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So you should have put that in the advert. You should have told you should have put that in the
that you're
advertisement. What
sexy?
not that I'm sexy, but to kind of create. Yes, you should have told them that I was, and then they can decide for themselves, you know.
Yeah.
But usually whatever people are told is sexy by the media, I think that they'll go for it.
Oh, this is a new sexy.
Yeah, like if a desk chair was declared the new sexy, people would go and start
Yeah.
going to town thing, you know. Hey, Skylar. Skylar's an old friend of mine. He helped me shoot my special. Speaking of the album, my one of my cinematographers is here. Yeah. How did you like the album? I allowed you to view the rough cut because I thought it would make the interview a little juicier.
So I don't want to give anything away of it. I really was laughing out loud while I was watching it, but I also had a migraine yesterday and I didn't feel well, and then I also felt that way a little bit this morning and still kind of do. And so while I was watching, I was like, I just need to watch it again and make sure I just wasn't very weakened. And no, it was very funny. It was very there's a lot of surprises. I think it's really important to be surprising in comedy, and you just don't get that. Why do you keep calling it an album? Why is it not a special?
I call it, that's kind of how they phrase it, is an album. But I call it a special and an album. I mean, it's both, because it's a 3D comedy album. Many surprises. I think I want to put it in 3D. I'm saying I'm going to call the record company and I'm going to say, I know that that they're just dropping off. It's just getting good, kids. Kids, where are you going?
It's a Sunday afternoon. We get a lot more viewers once it's posted. But I don't know if I'm going to post this now.
You don't know if you're going to post it. Why?
Just kidding. Go.
Okay. Sorry, I'm very self-conscious. Sorry, let me just check my window and see if anyone's... Okay, that's great. Now, here's the deal. Yeah, so you enjoyed it. So you said you watched it the first time and you hated it, and you had to go in. What did you say?
I watched it right before bed and I was laughing, and then I woke up this morning and was like, was that really that funny? Because I wasn't feeling well last night, and so I was like, well, let me just see if it's really funny. And it was so you were like, was it really that good? You had to go see again to see how good it was. Yeah, and that was a rough cut, right? So it's not even finished being edited. It was just
yeah, it's got a few layers of gloss to go, but it's probably going to be the greatest comedy special of all time, easily. And then the plan is that the album will be so good the charges will be dropped.
Yeah.
The album will be so good that I'll be a free man and all that, So it's kind of what I'm banking on.
It's actually.
But any kid comes down here, I'll steal him.
Yeah. It was one of your jokes. That was one of the jokes that made me laugh out loud about how
Which one? Oh yeah. Well, I think the opposite's true. I'm gonna know I made it when all charges are dropped.
Right.
So I'm just down here with this ski gear trying to find my fucking gun.
Yeah.
But other than that, everything's cool.
Yeah, that's good. So you've been doing this how long now?
11 years. They dropped. I mentioned a gun. Come on, everybody owns guns. Come on, folks, don't go.
Yeah.
They're like, I don't want to be culpable. I don't want to be a part of this.
I don't want to be a witness to this on a live.
Yeah, I don't want to see this dude kill himself. It's not me. It's just any officer who tries to apprehend me might come under fire, and I shoot to wound. Okay, so everybody, can we take a deep breath? I'm kidding around, but yeah, I've been doing stand-up about 11 years.
Okay. Great. And so 11 years, okay, that makes a lot more sense now as to why you work. And you've been doing that primarily in Los Angeles, or you did a lot of it and what is the comedy scene like?
Wow, damn. I've been doing comedy outside of Utah longer than I did it in Utah, which is strange. But it was 5 years in Salt Lake, because it was just like the stage time was too good. I was getting to do like hour shows and, do new material in front of a packed crowd every week. And it was just like, wasn't exactly in a hurry to leave. I mean, I was and I wasn't. And I left and it was like much more difficult. But I also became a much better comic when I moved to the Bay. And my material was not really what their palate was looking for. And they found me quite repulsive. So then I would just get stoned and like riff every set for like 4 months. I did that, and then I got really good at riffing. Became sort of this riff god, this sort of otherworldly, Christ figure in the Bay. Then I came to LA. I lost my car to parking tickets. But other than that, love LA. But have you ever been to LA? I saw you in LA. I met you in LA. Yeah, if anyone ever says you can live there without a car, they're lying, and they want to take advantage of you, and they want you to depend on them, and they want to traffic you, and they want your organs for themselves. So don't listen to that. Don't ever go to LA without a car. But I've lived there for 5 years without a car, and let me tell you, it's the best. I love the long subway rides. I love that the urgency it gives life, that you must leave your home 2 hours before work starts in order to get there on time. I really love those stakes. So now we're down to one viewer. That's that Mayhem and the Aham Maham filmmaker in the house tonight. We went to film school
Oh,
together.
nice. Yeah, so
And now
tell
she's
me, your video editing, is that something that you had primarily were like, I know I just need to pick this up in order to like make my social media important as a comedian, or is it something that you
oh
just,
no. Because I was into filmmaking like 7 years. I was like all in on film before I ever tried stand up.
oh, okay.
Film's always been first, but they've always been like comedy films. I've only ever had the instinct to make comedy. So stand up was a thing where it's like maybe you should try it out. You know, there was like a thought that I should maybe do that. I kind of did stand up in high school for like a talent show, but not really. I did write a bit in high school that like um, people still remember. You know, some Prodigy stuff. I don't know. Who knows? You know, and how could you charge a Prodigy with murder the way that these trumped up charges? How am I? I'm so good at comedy. How am I being charged with manslaughter? You're fucking crazy, you know. Anyways, but yeah, the first bit I ever wrote, it was like how I'm glad that like cell phones are a thing, because you know the dial tone lady. When you
Oh,
get the dial tone lady, and she's like, please hang up and dial again.
yeah.
It was foolish of you to try. You know, she had that cold metallic like old robot lady voice. Sorry, I thought I heard a noise. What's going on there? But yeah. Everything's good. I'm horny for food. I've got this album coming out. But yeah, I started stand up, and at first, honestly, I didn't. I was like, oh, maybe it's not for me, because I felt the pushback of like, because I feel like with movies or any other media, you can kind of like sit down, and if you kind of put the time in and enjoy it, you can make it good. And if it's not for everyone, that's fine. You can still make something that's good, you know.
Yeah.
But with stand up, you don't really have you have a say in how good you are at doing it, but you don't have a say in what bits work. You know, you don't. So you kind of have to test them out, and like sometimes there are many bits that I don't agree with the audience. I still think that I'm right, and these bits are great. And one day, you know, one day they will clear me of all manslaughter charges. But until that day, you
And
know.
you mentioned going up to the Bay Area, right? Like I heard that, I mean, the audiences there are just a little bit different. So a lot of San Diego comics who do well here or in Los Angeles go up to the Bay Area and just automatically get shut down.
Um, yeah, because the Bay is definitely like a more politically correct place. It is softer, but I think once you learn, because I think it made me a better comedian to adapt to that whole. Because there's still rooms in LA that are far more unreasonable than the Bay, as far as like, I can't, you know, I can't believe you're saying that, you know. But the Bay, I just kind of had to learn. It made me more diplomatic, you know. It made me learn to be a little more, because I was very much, when I left Utah, I was very much like rock and roll, fuck you, you know, just like I'm gonna be the gnarliest fucking, um, and then I don't know, I think it made me learn to just like, let's just be a little sillier, you know, let's just make it fun. That's kind of been, because even Brain Kisser, the album, there's stuff on there where I'm like, Jesus, this is like, it's a lot of really pitch black sex stuff on this album, you know, so. And I'm down with it. I'm all about it. But I don't necessarily want to be like Commander Sex, you know. I just want to be a little silly, you know. I'm going to speak truth to power, and I am going to be pretty fucking horny while I do it. But you know, I want variety, you know. I want people to, because sometimes when you're doing dark shit, I think you can come away from the set like feeling like you need a shower, feeling like kind of guilty. You're kind of. And lately, you know, there's no guilt. You know, I just get up there, I crush like a god, and my soul is cleansed by every set. You know, so things going pretty good for me right now.
Yeah, I was wondering how that because there is something about, you do get dark, you do get dirty, there's a lot of sex stuff, and that to me can
Mm.
be kind of just like off-putting if you hear too much of it. But there is like a
And there's,
tone in the way that you approach this humor that makes it really like palatable, but not like in a gross, like boring way, but like in just like this is actually funny. This is keeping me engaged. It's not like turning me off and shutting me off. It's like I want to keep hearing this. So that's why I was wondering, like, how much of your growing up around in Utah influenced how you kind of talk about this stuff.
oh yeah, I mean the biblical influence I think is pretty obvious. I think well, it gives you like a cosmic, because growing up Mormonism is very much like, almost like proto-Scientology, like Scientology before Scientology, where there's like kind of the crackpot guys kind of kicking it off, and sometimes maybe he's distorting a bit, but he's also making this whole like narrative where it's like, because Mormonism is very cosmic, and they're all about like, this is one of many planets, and it's one God of many gods, and when you grow up, you'll become God, and it's just like very so it instilled kind of a worship of like, that appealed to me, of like the becoming a God part, and now I'm a filmmaker, so I wonder if any of those are linked, because baby likes control, goo goo gaga, baby want control in all aspects of life. But yeah, it's very cosmic, and there's a lot of outer space stuff, and I don't know, Mormon comedians all often have like, or ex-Mormon comedians both kind of have like a very colorful writing, kind of surreal, because that's just kind of the vibe they get raised in, is kind of silliness, But then also the sex guilt stuff, I think, it's not really as much like, it's more, there's a lot of like guilt, I think, in the material, of just like, oh, I'm a naughty sex demon, but aren't we all just naughty sex demons? But JRX4E started following me because this interview was so good.
Yeah, I know, because people want to hear you. They don't want to see you running around. They want to look at your face, and they want to hear you talk about.
Oh yeah, they don't want to see me secure my fucking bunker. Make sure no pigs
about the crimes that they're witnessing right now.
Okay, I'll keep it toned down with the crimes.
All right.
I'll keep it down with the manslaughter charges. Is
it murder or manslaughter? Who knows? You didn't do it. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, even if I did it, they jumped right into the road. So, but back to the album.
Well, I could tell that. Okay, so in your comedy, you're also, your jokes are just well written. You've been doing it for 11 years. This makes a lot more sense because you know how to write a joke, right? And you're talking about things that are dirty and gross, just like naughty, but you're doing it in a really creative way. Probably because you kind of grew up with this. I don't know. Maybe you grew up with like having to express this stuff in a different way than like, the LA comic who grew up in LA talking about one night stands.
I think because the language had to be a little more colorful to like, there's the biblical element of like seed, and stuff like that, of like, I don't know. And I think it's always kind of like a cosmic reflection, on like sexuality, where it's more, it's an existential, just like, when is this going to be over? It's not really like, we're the babes. Like there's an element of that, but I know that it's not genuine. It used to be genuine. I used to believe my own hype and be like, but you realize over the years that it's just not that kind of comedy. It's not really groupie comedy. The groupies are they're out the door by the time that set's over. Even if you crush, it's just like, ugh, there's an element of ugh, because I gotta shake these charges. But yeah, when you kind of like play an exaggerated character on stage, people they don't know what they're dealing with, They steer clear, especially if they're women.
Yeah, especially if they're women. But you have a pretty good female following. I know a lot of people who are fans of yours here in San Diego, male and female. But who are some comics that you like, that you grew up like, oh, I wish I could do something like that. Like that's a real comic. Like that's a person who makes me laugh.
I don't like any stand-up except mine.
Yeah, I get the sense. I kind of don't affect.
No, I can't. No, honestly, my first like comedic influence is probably The Simpsons.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay.
Just their view, just their complete like contempt for authority. I think it just at least in those early episodes definitely that's probably the biggest influence on my stand-up, is just like, just the way the satire in The Simpsons plays out, of just like people who like believe they're right and just like very flowery, like, Fruitopia, the only iced tea that's brewed by hippies and distributed by a heartless multinational corporation. Just how they peppered like the corruption into media and satirize that. I don't know. That was a big influence. And the first comic I was ever like, oh, I have to be him, was Bill Hicks.
Oh.
Definitely when I saw Bill Hicks, I was like, oh, it's him. And then my comedy arguably got worse once I tried to do Hicks work, because it's not quite because I love Hicks, but he's not quite, I don't want to take myself as seriously as he does. But I'm fine with him taking himself seriously, but I don't ever want to be too, I don't ever want to be too real, because then my defense mechanism will be, dashed, That's why I ran that guy over.
Obviously.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it gets a little bit too polished, a little too buttoned up, and I don't really see you doing that kind of.
Yeah, I like to keep it loose, I like to stay in the moment, I like to riff at least a little every set. An ideal set for me, I'm riffing like 25% to 50% of it. An ideal set.
Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah. So that's when I know I'm having a good set, is when I'm in the moment and it's just like taking off. Or when you're like adding tags in the moment and stuff. I don't know. That, to me, a set isn't really that great unless I'm like improvising a little bit.
Right. Yeah.
Sometimes, yeah. But lately, the sets of the Comedy Store tend to be fairly tight, So I've kind of had to like be a little more like, material conscious of like, now I have the order, like the set list is very like specific, because you have the 3 minutes and then you're done, and then you're, no more Booker, bye Booker,
Right.
So there's been a little less freedom, but I had I was on a show with Marc Maron, no big deal, and he said my name into a microphone. It was really quite something.
That's amazing.
Have you ever had a celebrity say your name, like, your next comic is
Eddie Pepitone. Well, he's a celebrity to me.
Yeah.
What's
his full name again? What is your full name?
Vanessa Gomez.
Vanessa Gomez!
Yeah.
Vanessa! Get up here, Vanessa!
That's a good Eddie Pep. I love him. I will follow him forever.
Oh, he's my favorite working today. He's my number one. He's extremely funny. And Maron's just been really laying it down at the store. He's been having some great sets.
I love Marc Maron. I've seen him there at the Comedy Store. I don't understand how. I mean, do you look to these people and you're like, how are they constantly writing new stuff? Are they doing new stuff, like new sets?
I know Maron is, because he just dropped his latest hour, so he's working on a new, but he like kind of deceives the crowd, and he'll go up and be like, oh, I got nothing, and then he'll just wreck them, just crush like a god. But yeah, Maron's new stuff is very good. Pepitone is always doing fresh stuff. I feel I used to always have a lot of new material when I was in Utah, because I had that fertile ground to test the material, and then once I got to the rougher open mics in like California, the rate of writing definitely like slowed down. But I think also, I don't know, I was like with my people, so it was kind of like anything goes, and I could pretty much do whatever up there, and people were down with it. And then you get outside of that bubble, and you're like, okay, this stuff's really got to be like solid gold, So it slowed down. It became more like the diamonds in the pressure, very slowly. I feel like I have less control over how many bits I write now. It's got to kind of just come to you.
Yeah.
It's
are you still
much
going to open mics? Do you still do that?
God, no. Oh, God, no.
No.
That's street trash? Never. No. I haven't had to go as much lately, because I'm getting a lot of spots at the store. So getting away from those has been nice. Nothing against open mics. I love a good open mic, but LA open mics, as many LA comics would agree, are a bit of a downer, a bit of a fucking, just a lot of despair, and there's a lot of like, there's always that feeling of like, oh fuck, and you think about where you started and how long you've been doing it, and then there's like a kid 2 years in is like being a little bastard to you, and you're just like, and you're rubbing people the wrong way, and people get more and the Comedy Stores is not. It's not really a place where someone's going to get like triggered. It's like something about the environment create. It's kind of like expected that it's going to be kind of a rowdy. I don't know. It just feels like I never feel like I'm going to go up and someone's going to like be distraught by something I said. I feel like people get that it's a joke there, so it's a nice joint. And now I'm doing sets there every week, so that I feel like the writing is speeding up now that I have a fertile garden to spill seed onto, so to speak, in the more in the gardening sense, you know, in the gardening. Yeah, and then after that, just getting these charges dropped, you know.
Yeah.
But you viewed the album. You seem to also think it's like probably the best special of all time, right?
Yes. Yeah, and you know what I think it is because I do have especially after watching so many comedy specials, it's boring, right? Because it's like you're just watching one comic on we're talking about the special now, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. And you know, you just know what to expect. I didn't know what to expect at any 1 second during your thing, and it wasn't in a distracting way. It was in a very entertaining and well thought out way. And I could see probably where you're gonna edit some more stuff out, but what was there was so fucking good. And I was like, what am I doing? It was literally, I almost messaged you last night at like 1 minute in. I was like laughing my ass off because like, what am I watching right now? It was just like, it was 1 minute in and I was laughing out loud.
Watching the world get changed, you know. You're watching history take a different course. You're watching climate change being reversed by the special. You're watching tensions with China just gone like that because the comedy is so good. But yeah, I don't really find just specials. Yeah, I want them because I guess it's the film background.
Yeah.
I want things to be really like over the top. So like, yeah, I don't really like specials that much. I feel like comedy's more of a live thing,
right,
for the real magic, you know. So for me, it's like, I don't know. I just wanted to enhance the viewing experience, you know.
And you're
get
doing
that
it
shit
without being distracted, because you're not going over the top with it is the thing. It's like still keeping you engaged. You're not like, there's not just like an elephant walking across the stage all of a sudden. You're like, what am I doing?
I'll do that. Maybe for the special edition, like some CG, like giant lizards.
Yeah.
George Lucas style, just have like some stormtroopers riding a giant fucking do that too.
That's another take. But it's really good, and I could just see a lot of the filmmaking. That's why I kind of asked about, because I've been following your Instagram. I see a lot of the videos that you post on, and you have a YouTube as well. There's this one that you posted that I think kind of relates to your joke writing, though. Actually, it was the knife, the masked knife guy.
Knife Man. Thanks, Knife Man.
Yeah.
Me and knives, you know, we're just inseparable. I just cannot get enough of these giant kitchen knives, you know. They really tie the room together. But yeah, Knife Man is I'm glad you enjoyed that. I feel like, you know, Knife Man is a fun I think I heard someone out there. These goddamn pigs are just circling my apartment. It's endless. Yeah, that I edited that for like 5 months straight, and off and on, but I just like could not get it right. And yeah, I don't know if it'll ever be perfect, but yeah, me and editing is like OCD, so that's why the record is taking so long. I shot it on August 7th, 2022, so it's been a minute. So the boys, my adopted parents, the record company, 800 Pound Gorilla Media, I think they're just a little bit like, so where's the fucking where? And I'm like, don't worry, baby, it's gonna be the best fucking special of all time. It's gonna be good, huh? Now come on, let me smoke you out and show you this special. But yeah, I'm very happy with it. I think it's gonna turn out well. It's just gonna take time to make it to sand those edges down, you know. I also have to destroy the copy I sent to you because I don't trust you, but
yeah, I really didn't expect you to send it to me, but I was really glad that you did, because I was under the influence. Okay, well, I'm really glad that you did, and of course, go ahead and revoke all my privileges to it because it is top secret, so good.
I just felt like it was a better, and I wanted to gauge. I feel like it is, because you have to test it on people anyway. So I might as well talk to you about it, having seen it. That's
Yeah,
better than being like, yeah, it's pretty cool. We got some gimmicks in there, and then it's gonna come out in a couple of months.
it's much
I'd rather have.
more of an art piece almost. Like it's still comedy. It's still comedy. It's still comedy. But there's a lot of art in it. There's a lot of intention behind it. I really enjoyed that aspect. Again, as somebody who has a really difficult time paying attention and watching one person talk, that's why I like comedy. That's why I like the 3 to 5 to 8 minute sets, because then they're off the stage and I'm getting to see somebody else. So having to watch a whole hour thing is like a thing, and not being bored throughout any of it was very nice to experience. But that whole, my mentioning the knife thing, the knife guy, I forget what it was called. I wondered how much of that really was real life, because you had at the end of like this, oh yeah, even you mentioned it, the OCD editing.
Yeah.
What you do that to your jokes and to everything that you put out.
I feel like my stand-up is, maybe it's lazier. I don't know. I feel like I with the jokes, you just kind of like know when they're done, and they're done. But lately, I don't know, the tags have been extrapolating quite a bit. But yeah, the editing, video editing, and like script writing and stuff it's just endless. Whereas stand-up, I think I'm able to just loosen up a little more, and I know my shit that works, and I kind of use that as a jump-off point to kind of. Yeah, I like stand-up being a little bit looser. I feel like, but although there is like the full-on like, you have to have a panic attack before every set. You have to, but then you like harness that energy. But every set, I'm fucking freaking out. I can't do it. Any set, anytime. Like, if 5 minutes for 2 people, fucking 30 minutes for like 100 people, it's the same. Just, you gotta, it's all part of the ritual, freaking the fuck out. But yeah, stand up. But then there's also like, there's always that part of the set where afterwards you're like, there's that flaw, rarely do you have like that flawless set. But Abnormal Nights was good. Those San Diegites they're a rather filthy bunch, they're a rather transgressive crowd. Yeah, San Diego's I like the vibe of the crowds there a lot. Because it's got the California chill, but people are maybe a little rowdier.
They want to get rowdy, yeah.
Yeah. And there's a weirdo edge to it too. All beach towns, I feel like weirdos just kind of like float up and stay forever.
That's totally true, for sure. I've noticed that for sure here in San Diego. People want to laugh. Like, they just want to have a good time. They're not looking for a fight. They're not looking for, even in like even like La Jolla area, like, the Comedy Store that's there, I would have expected a lot more people to complain about some of the jokes coming from that stage. And no, everyone's good. You walk into a dark black room, you're gonna
with red light.
Yeah,
there's something about the Comedy Store where you're walking up to like hell. You're entering hell. You're peeking.
Like it's gonna get
dark. Yeah. So I don't know. It's like to be expected that it's gonna be kind of naughty,
Yeah, and a little naughty, a little forbidden.
It's it's delicious forbidden fruit. That's all I do. At the Comedy Store is partake of just delicious forbidden fruit, and I just obey the serpent when he tells me to bite the apple. That's what it's all about.
Yeah. Well, I'm really. Did you have to audition? Do you have to audition for the Comedy Store spot, or they just?
They woke me up in my sleep. They pulled me out of bed, and they're like, "This is happening." Yeah, and they were like, "This isn't." They said, "We've been grooming you for years, and you're ready." And they pulled me out of bed, put a bag over my head, and they took me there. No, it was. I had actually not had much ambition to work there, because I was intimidated by it. I felt like it was maybe a little prickly, because I'm a little softy. And then they do this thing called Set of the Night, where if you win it, you get to do an automatic potluck thing in front of the booker. And something about doing that set, there was like some rowdier stuff that I did, and people laughed and they like got that it was a joke, and I was like, oh, I love the Comedy Store. And then it clicked. I was like, I don't think I've ever had a bad set at the Comedy Store. That's since changed, because sometimes you do cold opens and they range from wonderful to sucking total shit, but that's the life. But yeah, I just realized how much I actually loved performing there, and it clicked in my mind. I was like, I think I'd like to work here. And then I got chewed out. I worked in data entry at Juvenile Hall. That was the job I had before the Comedy Store. And that was the bit I did at Saturday Night. I was like, I work in data entry at Juvenile Hall. I can change any date of birth I want. And it's like pretty nasty joke, but people were down with it. I was like, oh my God, they get that it's a joke. It's like, it's weird today that that's like kind of a miracle, but you're like, oh my God, I can't believe they understand that I'm not condoning this. They understand satire. And then, so I got chewed out at my job for messing up the data entry at Juvenile Hall, and I was like, man, I just want to work at the Comedy Store. And then that same day, my buddy called me and was like, what's your interest in working at the store? And then, but then I still, so you have to essentially be vouched for, and also the booker has to like you. So there's no one. But luckily, I entered the auditions and I crushed like a god. So, and they said, we don't care about the charges. We want you, and we want you. We don't care about these pesky manslaughter charges. We want you here at the store, But yeah, Comedy Store is great. But the only job I've ever wanted to keep in my life, so I'm hoping to keep that. So.
Yeah, I was listening to I think I was listening to the Doorcast. You were talking about the Juvenile Hall job, and just imagining.
Yeah, it was fairly gnarly. It was this older, I think she was Armenian, this older lady who would like, she'd go over everything with me, and then I'd be like, how do I do this? And she'd be like, remember, I told you? And I'd be like, this job isn't for me. Remember, I told you?
You're like,
yeah, but the scoldings
aren't even children, they're creatures.
The scoldings are out of this world, She was a great scolder, so I'll cherish those memories for life. I don't know if you've ever been just certifiably chewed out by an older woman, but it's simply delightful. But we don't have to talk about my personal life. Yeah, Juvenile Hall was not for me. The youth prison racket. Youth prisons ain't my bag, baby. Youth prisons are not my bag, baby. But some of the. How long did I work at Juvenile Hall? I think it lasted 5 weeks before they axed me.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because you'd mentioned on that podcast that you had like 15 jobs that you'd been fired from, and I was like, damn.
At least, yeah. Don't tell the store that. I'm actually the greatest employee of all time. Don't go running your mouth about
Yeah. No, this is the only job that you've ever liked or wanted, right?
Yeah. I didn't even know I wanted it until it just plopped into my lap, and I was lap danced by opportunity. Opportunity just plopped into my lap and gyrated for several minutes, demanded a cash fee of $20, and here I am working at the Comedy Store.
Yeah.
So.
And you might just take off with this special that you're releasing later this year. Are you going to be entering it into any like film festivals or anything, like Jamar Neighbors? I know he did that with his.
Oh, he did? I didn't know you could do that. I might. Yeah, I'm game.
Yeah.
I'm game for. I'm game for any and all publicity, just to like make the record company not regret working with me. Mike Moon says, how hard is it running Camp Jackie and doing something much less important? He's digging at me. He's shitting on my YouTube channel, little bastard. He's a good guy. MK Ultras.
About your hair and
I'm
reading his comment. Oh my God! How do you get your hair to look like that, Jackie? It's astounding.
Who said that?
Moon Man.
Moon Man. Well, Moon Man, first I have it. I'm kidding around. He's bald, but I love him very much. He's a good man. Don't go, Moon. Please don't go. Today, well, usually I leave in like some post-wash conditioner you put in when it's damp, but this is all natural, just letting it dry regular, and it's quite fluffy, I could never, I honestly feel emasculated without it. This is my main, this is the line lion's mane. You're in the lion's den right now, hiding from the authorities, you know.
Yeah, I hope that you make it out. I hope that they never find out where you are, especially because you just talked about where you've been employed. And that all the charges get dropped. I hope that all works out.
Oh, yeah. Oh, believe me, they will be. Is this the end of the interview?
I think so. Oh, was there anything else you want to talk about?
My resume sounds like a
Yeah, you
Oh,
worked
very
at a
funny.
marshmallow place or something.
Yeah, I worked at a marshmallow factory. I worked at, I was a caregiver. I cared for the old in their dying days, so that was pretty cool. But, well, if that's all you want to know about me, I guess, you know, there's just so much more, but I guess we'll have to save that for another time, you know.
Well,
so much to say.
Right? When are you going to release the special? Because I want to interview you again after that, after everyone's.
Yeah. The special will be, so basically it's 6 weeks after Final Cut is delivered, and Final Cut is probably about 6 weeks away. So
Okay.
let's say in a miracle world, in a perfect world, 2 months from now.
Okay. Yeah, get that finished, dude. I want to have everyone watch it. It's really good.
Yeah,
Very creative.
Thank you. And be sure to tune into the Cam Jackie YouTube channel and the Campy Jackie Instagram. Many delicious sketches on there too. Basically an empire, but so if this is all for you, this is that's all she wrote.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think I'll have more questions for you next time. Hopefully you won't be on the run. Hopefully you'll be nice and safe.
You don't gotta leave. You just I haven't talked to another human being in several weeks, so maybe don't go just yet. I mean, come on, look at this,
we
huh?
cut off at an hour, so if you want to wait, we got 12 minutes.
I'll let you get going.
I did.
Oh my God.
What?
Oh my God, they found me. I don't know how, but they found me. I gotta go. They're here. They're here. The cops are here. Okay. Mwah, 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 mwah.
I love you. Have a great day.
Bye bye.